evil man never need evidence to believe, but still he gotta work for the blessings that he receives. Let's go.
Sometimes it's hard to believe in what you don't see. I understand, but the picture is so much bigger than what we could even imagine. It's one of a matter when the waves of the world make you feel sadder. Put your faith into action.
Welcome to the good life. Hey guys.
Hello.
Welcome to the good life. Tonight I'm here with one of my great friends, Elizabeth. She's not only my friend, but my amazing makeup artist. That's why our faces are beat
Thank you.
beautifully today. I've known you for a few years.
Yeah, a few years now.
And we always have our little girl God talks and gab about God whenever we're together. So what good of a guest other than you to talk about God?
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So today we're still having our mixed messages series, and today we're gonna keep it still controversial a little bit. We're gonna talk about some real life stuff. As the girl crew had the boys last month, so I'm happy to have my girls this month. We're gonna talk about mixed messages in society.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's very interesting. So I'm gonna link this video so you guys can watch it too, but it's a really interesting J. Cole interview, and he said something. It's called The Disease of More, and I think that I kind of want to read some of it because it explains a lot about materialism. So in his interview he says, and I quote, the monetary, the material, even the success, things you place your importance on can never satisfy you because it never ends. If money is what you want, then there's no amount of money that can ever make you stop, you know, if that's all you care about. There's no amount of cars, women, men, success. It'll never be enough for you if that's what you put your value in life on. If you put your value in life on appreciation and love, I mean, there's always that in life, if you take a look. And, you know, we really just let this system of the world tell us that these things, things are important, and that's really not true. And he even compared it to a hamster wheel that just, it never ends. And he said himself, it's okay to have things and nice things and name brand things, whatever, but don't put your value on those things. It's just a thing, it's not real. He said what's real is spiritual, connection with others, love is real. And until he got all of these things, you know, he's rich, he's famous, so for like rich people, millionaires, to tell you until I got it, that's when I realized I don't need it. That doesn't define me. It's not what I want to, it's not what I find important. So that led me to think, you know, imagine if we truly just put our value on God, because that's what he wants us to do. Like, he wants us to value him, and first everything else kind of revolves around that. So what would our life really look like
without,
if we valued God over these things? So we're gonna kind of dive into that.
We'll jump into it.
Dive into that. In water. So the first verse I have is Matthew 6:24.
Okay.
It's a real one. It says, "No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money." Bible said it, not me. You cannot serve God and money.
You can't. There's no one above.
So what do you think about all of that? Just putting your importance on money and things, and how far does that get you?
I think that God always comes first, and then everything comes after. Well, that's for me. And I think that when people put materialistic things, or they put, like you said, money, or they put anything beside God, like Instagram fame, Facebook fame, you know, doing things for others, not doing things for the kingdom or for God, you know, for his will, for what he had planned out for your life, it kind of leads you off track. It kind of puts you somewhere else in life that you're not supposed to be, and God always puts you back. But I feel like you can reroute yourself and throw yourself off course.
Oh, absolutely.
When you don't put God first. And so I feel like it's true when they say that the real things in life you can't touch, they're always felt. And so I think a spiritual connection, you know, having friends, you know, that are like-minded and that you can have.
You can't feel the love, well, you can feel the love, you can't like touch it
or grab it, but it's there. That's real, not, you know, the new Michael Kors or the new makeup palette. You know, those things are cool, but I don't feel like they get you anywhere.
I feel like the society we live in, honestly, ever since the technology has changed and the internet is everywhere and it's accessible. It's just so much in your face all the time. It's commercials, these brands, you gotta be cool, you gotta have.
It is not cool. It's not cool anymore to like, they made it a thing to where it's not cool to have a relationship with God. It's like, it's not mocked and made fun of. And it's kind of like, you can't talk about it or say anything about your spiritual relationship and your friends or God gabbing. Like, it's almost like it's not allowed.
It's not
and
the popular.
Yeah, it's not cool. And it's more cool to take 50,000 pictures and get 20,000 likes, but it's not cool to have, you know, your eternity
Bible
that
out
you're
in a
worried
picture.
about. Or, you know, I want to say, like, your body is your temple, and nowadays it's more cool to be half naked, and you're not even at a stature in life to where you're even getting paid or published to show yourself, but you're showing yourself willingly to the world. You're exposing yourself when that's, you know, for your husband, that's for your wife, that's not for the world. And everybody is for giving everything up front and just bearing it all. That's scary. That the little girls are growing into that, little boys are growing into that, thinking
and that's a norm right now. Like you said, it's now the norm is to being naked is cool. Like, let me show off your body, and if you can't do that, then you won't become Instagram famous. Like,
and I get if, like, I mean, it's cool. High heels, I know, are part of, you know, adjusting your cosmetic to where making you look taller, making your calf muscles look bigger, or wearing makeup. You know, I know that's not all real, or changing your hair color, but like, people are going really, really far to where they're changing their nose, they're changing their eye color, they're getting those implants in their eyes.
But I think, like you said, and it goes back to, it just ties all in. If your value is on how you look more than God made me in his image, God made me this way in his image. Yes, he made doctors to change things. Yes, there's things available. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing you could ever do to your body that could be wrong if you don't value that over God. Yeah. Like, God has to still be more important to you.
Because it doesn't matter anything that you do to yourself. Like, you can get bigger boobs, you can fix your eye color and change your hair color and get a nose job. But
if that's all you don't want, it's never going to satisfy you like that.
And if you don't love yourself first, it's not going to matter. Like, you're always going to want to...
Like, I watch those plastic surgery shows because it fascinates me. And again, a lot of them are like normal stuff. Like I have a deviated septum. I'm scared to get a nose job. I would never do it. But
don't do it.
No, I don't like scared. But some people just need medical stuff, you know? So
yeah, there's certain things that are cool. I mean, I'm not knocking it.
But there's some people that they come in and you can just see the insecurity right on their face, and they're just doing this because they're chasing after this idea that if I get
I'm gonna be happy, everything's gonna be perfect, and it's not, because then you're gonna find something else that you don't like, and then there's gonna be something else you want to change, and something else you want to change. And if you don't love who you are before you start getting these procedures, and you don't know whose you are, then it's not gonna matter. You're still gonna be chasing after some false, made up
sense of security, I guess.
Yeah.
Same thing, I guess, for the guy. The guy version of this is, because they're not really getting plastic surgery and all that. I guess some of them do. But I think the guy version is, like, you know, having the nicest cars, like, having the name brand stuff. Oh, I gotta look cool. I gotta have all this bling and jewelry. And, like, that's cool. Even J. Cole's like, I have these necklaces and stuff. Yeah. But once I stop placing value on it, like, I don't care about this stuff. It doesn't matter if it's not there. Yeah, I'm not gonna die without it. But there's so many people that are just like they won't even, you know, accept you into their circle. Like, oh, you don't have the new Jordans. Like,
yeah, you're not cool.
Like,
or your car doesn't look like this or that, or you're not doing this or that. Like, I don't know, I feel like your spiritual life is more important. It should be first, and then everything else will fall in line.
I really wish it was cool and popular for people. Like, that's what we were talking about last month, to be a bold Christian. Like, you have to be bold in this world because it's not popular.
And you will get shamed for it. You will get talked down on. You will get put in a position to where you're judged and you're made look crazy. People make you look crazy. People make you sound like, you know, what you believe in isn't real, or you gotta prove something to them. Like, well, if God's there, prove it. Oh, you can't prove it. So I mean, it's a joke. It really is. Yeah. I don't have to prove my relationship with God to anyone. Like, I know who that is.
And it's crazy because even like now, the times that we're now, everyone's chasing after equality for different things, like racial equality, equality, gender equality, like whatever. Everyone is trying to be so accepting of everything, but I find it so funny that religion is still like taboo. Like no one's like, oh,
we have to, and don't get me wrong, because I have
cool.
friends that are gay, transgender, and I have not, like, I'm not against
Yeah,
any
we
of that.
love
Like,
everyone.
I love all of them. But for certain people, when it comes to, oh, I love Jesus, I love God, you know, my heart, I have a passion for Christ, it's a problem. It's like, oh, well, what's wrong with her?
Oh, she's super religious. We can't do this around
we can't
her.
hang
Like,
out with her. There's something wrong with her. We're
First
gonna make
of all-
fun of her, like, or who is she to have, you know, that love for God after what she's done or where she's been through? Like, no, that's why I need Jesus.
Yeah, pretty much. So how do, okay, so I'm asking all these parents these questions to hopefully help you guys out there. And you have 3 children?
Yep, 3 boys.
So how do you think, like, for your kids these days? I mean, I remember when I was in school, it was still a thing, like, you had to be popular, like, oh, I want the new clothes and all that. So that's never gonna change. Like, that's just
You know,
people.
it's
But how do you
funny.
teach your kids to not care so much, you know?
When I first put the boys in school, when Julian and Jay first started school, I used to get them Jordans like crazy. I used to get them, they wore nothing but Nike and Jordan and all the cool stuff. And they came home and they were jealous of the kids that had the light up shoes, that had like the Paw Patrol, like the $12.99 shoes. And I was like, I didn't dress them like that for anybody else but for myself. I always looked at my children like they're a representation of me. And then it was like, I'm setting them up in life to think that, you know, they have to have the newest this or the newest that. And then that's important, and it's not important. And so now they'll wear, like, I think we went to the dollar store the other day and they're like look-alike Chucks.
Nice.
And he likes them. I mean,
Yeah.
we ran out of the house and I think he left a shoe at home. And I try to tell them it doesn't matter what people think of you. It matters what you think of you. It matters that you love you. Because if you don't love you, it's not going to matter who does. It's not going to matter at all. And it matters what you think of yourself.
That's the key to life.
And they're happy. They're happy boys. They love themselves. No one could tell them anything about themselves.
Yeah. I think, man, just teaching your kids that, just being so blunt and honest with your kids these days. Like you said, it literally doesn't matter what people think about you. And at any age, you really need to
everybody makes it seem
understand that.
like, oh, you have to be accepted because there's so many groups when you get into school. There's the cool kids, there's the nerdy kids, there's the weird kids.
But if you don't accept me for me, why do I want to be around you anyway? It's gonna have to be fake,
like
you know,
that.
for you to accept me.
Also, what you pour into them too, what you're telling them. You know, like I never would belittle them or talk down on them. It's always like, if they do something out of line, I try to redirect them and tell them, you know, like they'll come home saying new words or new sounds or new things that other people are saying. Like we had YOLO. I'm sure we had a whole bunch of crazy words we would go around saying. But they'll come home and they say things and I'm just like, okay, I don't know what that means.
Let's level set this.
Yeah, you don't have to say everything just because everybody else is saying that. Like it doesn't sound cool. It kind of sounds a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
And understand it's cool, but you got to know when it's appropriate to say certain things and not say certain things just thinking that because other people say it, or you know, celebrities. Like I think there's a YouTube star and his like Jake Paul or something, or Logan Paul or something, and they love him and they say all these crazy terms that he says, and I'm like, oh no, don't
conform to this world.
So
But yeah, that's true. I feel like a lot of kids are misguided because kids now in this generation have the internet all the time. So they're like, they could be in any type of mood with all the stuff in the world, but as soon as they see like, oh, well this is something new. Oh, well they have these clothes. Oh, that looks cool. Oh, I have to get this. I need this.
because now he wants like the Logan Paul
it.
hat, the Logan Paul shirt, the Logan Paul this, and I'm like,
And it's like, hold on, you were just fine a minute ago before you put the internet on, and now all of a sudden you feel like insecure and you don't have this and you're not cool. But before that, you were fine.
or they're gonna make fun of me if I don't have this, or if I
Yeah.
don't have the new one of this, or if it doesn't look like that.
I think that I love the internet, but it's ruined us.
It's very, very useful sometimes.
I love it. I use it, and I love social media, but it's ruined our society's brain. Let's keep that real. So you have access to the internet, we have access to TV, there's the reality shows, and it's like you see, I know for me, because I do the modeling and you do makeup, so like we're competing in this industry all the time. You're competing in the beauty industry and I'm in the modeling industry, and it is kind of like a competition all the time. Like, you gotta have all the newest looks, and it's like, oh, you have to showcase all these beautiful women and beautiful looks. And
it may seem like there's a lot of competition when you put yourself on that pedestal, because Chris used to tell me, and it kind of used to frustrate me, because he would be like, you know, you gotta keep popping out new looks, because there was at a point, you know, when I was pregnant with CJ, that I was doing all these FX looks, and I was, even up until the day before I delivered, I was doing different looks, and I would just post from here up, because it was like a different FX look or a makeup look. And he's like, you know, there's a lot of competition out there, you know, there's these people doing this and that and this and that, but I'm not on their path. Like, what I'm doing is not what they're doing. We may be doing something similar, but where I'm going is not where they're going, and God could have a cutoff time for them. You know, they might end and get to where they're supposed to be before I ever get to where I am. So I try not to ever tell myself I'm competing with anybody. And I was like, don't tell me I'm competing with anybody, because I'm not. Like, you can't go anywhere else and get Elizabeth Grace. Like, no one you can't go nowhere else and get Alyssa Miller. Like, and that's one thing I've always told you. No one can go anywhere else and get this face.
Yeah.
Like, you
and
can't.
That's what people have to really, that's a very good point. And I think it's hard for us to realize and remember that.
Like, that's your superpower.
You're
being
not,
you.
yeah. Being you is in. Like, being you is cool. And a lot of these people that are like Insta famous, the most famous ones typically are like half naked, but besides but the most famous ones are people that are just willing to like strip it all away and just be them, be weird, just do things that we would think of and do but would never want to put on camera, and they do it, and you're like fascinated with it because they're being honest and raw. And that needs to become back in style.
Yeah.
Because everyone's trying to be perfect. Oh, I gotta be pretty. No, be you. Like,
quit faking it.
Who cares? But yeah, that's a great point. You're absolutely right. We are not in competition with anyone.
And I feel like when we put ourselves at that, that's when we're catty. That's when we're nasty. That's when we're ugly. Like, oh, well, she's doing it like this, and that's not the way it's supposed to be done. Well, then they'll go
to ourselves.
Yeah, or really hard on ourselves. I think I was just telling you, I was like, oh, what about this or that?
That's how we are. That's a girl struggle. I don't know what guys do. Maybe they comb their hair like 4 strands.
They don't care. He literally wakes up out of the bed and he's like,
I want to be a guy.
Puts on clothes, and I'm like, you look so beautiful. You didn't even do anything.
Like 6 minutes later. Oh, you're ready? All right. Cool. All right. Well, so that's definitely a good discussion. So yeah, just stop competing with the world. Put your value on the right things. Serve God over everything. If you put God in the center of your world, I promise you, no matter what you look at, think of, no matter how in your head you get, if you stop for a minute and take a deep breath and remember, hold on, my God's right here.
Because He made you perfect in His image.
Yeah, I'm only trying to impress God, and the only way I can impress God is following His word. And His word says, don't serve these other people. You can't serve me, and it says money, but I take that for anything. You can't serve God in vanity. You can't serve God in, you know, material item. You can't do both.
You have to be all in with God or none. It's not.
And that's a peaceful feeling. Like, when you really get that and you really understand that as a concept, that other stuff really doesn't matter. Like, you could come to my house in a Lambo and I'd be like, nice Lambo, that's beautiful. I'm not gonna sit there and like cry like, oh my God, I don't get my Lambo. No, I could care less. Like, I'm happy for you. That's cool. And life moves on.
Yeah.
So I think that's just where we need to get to as a society. Can we like take it back or like bring it forward with something new, I guess?
Okay.
I think we've always had issues with that.
This is very controversial because a lot of people, I feel like, they're gonna be like, why did she say that? But I feel like when you said you can't put anything above or before God, that also goes with, I feel like, astrology with signs. People will be like, oh, you're a Sagittarius. Oh, you know, you're this, you're that. I'm like, no.
Let me tell you what the Bible says about astrology.
And I believe that a lot of people will be like, you know, he's a this or he's a that, and y'all aren't compatible, and you know, you're this or like, I hear a whole bunch of bad things when people talk about my supposed sign, and they're
I feel like it's okay to like, cool, some of that stuff makes sense and fit your personality, but that is not,
people live to it.
Bond, like, word does not bond on that.
No, people will look to it like, oh, well, my horoscope said this and this was gonna happen, and this and this and that's gonna happen.
But again, if you place your value on that, then that's like your whole day now is relying on this message over like a Bible verse that we know is true. Yeah. It's almost like I consider that if you put your value on that over just like reading it, like, oh, okay, cool. I almost think it's kind of like adultery.
Yeah, adultery.
Idolatry. That's a hard word to say.
Adultery.
IDOLTry. Whatever. Because you're not like worshiping it, but you're taking that word over
What
God's
God would
words for
say.
you.
Like, oh, I wonder what's gonna happen this week. Let me go read my horoscope. Like, no, you should pray. Like, it
Just
says
pray
walk
about
by
it.
faith, not by sight. And
Yeah.
when you're looking and searching for something definite, and some people have a hard time clinging to their faith because it's not something they can read or something that's
Tangible.
yeah. And I think that's where things go wrong too.
But you know what? In my recent readings, I never found this verse or anything, but I was reading the Bible a couple weeks ago and I found this verse. I don't know what it was. Can't remember that, but I remember because it stuck with me. I think it was Jesus or God talking through a prophet, whatever. And they were mad at all these like wooden statues, like the idols that everyone was worshiping. And the verse says something to the extent of, God's like, how dare you worship something that a man had to make? Like, y'all had to make this and you're worshiping this. So I think the same for like astrology. Like,
And I'm not against anybody who like reads it and you like look at it and like
but
it.
it's
Like,
your value on it.
Yeah, it's like what people will put that above God, and I don't believe in God.
It's like all these things are man-made. Like, y'all don't want to, y'all are talking to, like, this guy made all of this, but y'all are trying to be on the level with these people. I want to talk to the boss. Like, who's in charge? Because that's what I want to know.
And I think that's important, and I think a lot of people might not like that, and that's okay. You can tell me what you think about it in the comments. I promise I won't care.
It's okay, because we don't value these comments. We value God. I'm just kidding. We like comments. Please comment. All right. Okay, well, I'm going to end this part 1 here, and we're going to have part 2. Stay tuned next Wednesday for part 2 of Mixed Messages in Society with my girl, Elizabeth.
Bye.